It's additional filing for the Franks motion. And it says, come now the accused Richard Allen by and through counsel Andrew Baldwin and Brad Rosie, and files the following additional information to supplement the Franks motion and memorandum previously filed in this court on October 18th, 2023. In support of said notice, the defense states the following. 1. That on September 18th, 2023, the defense filed its motion for a Franks hearing, as well as a memorandum in support of said motion. 2. That since filing that motion, the defense has received new discovery that strongly supports the defense's belief that Tony Liggett and Unified Command attempted to conceal from Judge Diener, and has since even attempted to hide from the defense, that evidence supports that those practicing Odinism were the murderers of Abby and Libby. Specifically, Tony Liggett swore under oath at his August 8, 2023 deposition that a Purdue professor did not believe that the sticks found on Abby and Libby's bodies consisted of runes. Liggett Depot, pages 74 through 77. Furthermore, Sergeant Jerry Holman swore under oath at his August 10th, 2023 deposition that a Purdue professor said that the sticks found on the girls did not represent Odinism or any type of cult worshiping or any type of group that would have conducted the crime. Holman, deposition, page 63, lines 10 through 20. 5. Because of the findings of this Purdue professor, the Unified Command claimed to have essentially abandoned the Odinism aspect of the investigation into the murders of Abby and Libby. 6. In response to the defense's request to dispose this Purdue professor on September 6, 2023, the prosecutor Nick McClelland told the defense via email, as stated before, we are trying to identify the Purdue professor, but no luck yet. Detective Holman has reached out to the FBI and Purdue and has not gotten a response yet. We will continue our endeavors, but may not be able to identify him or her. 7. However, on September 19th, 2023, the day after the Franks memorandum was filed, where it was revealed that the Purdue professor was missing, miraculously, Jerry Holman found the professor, whose name is Jeffrey Turco, and interviewed him. 8. However, in the interview, Jerry Holman apologized to Turco for the 3 to 4 weeks that it took him, Holman, to sit down and talk with Turco. 9. This means that Holman was aware of the Purdue professor's identity since mid to late August, but nonetheless told McClelland that Unified Command could not locate the Purdue professor, and furthermore, that they may not ever be able to find the Purdue professor. 10. However, after it was obvious that the Purdue professor would probably out himself as the missing Purdue professor following the Franks memorandum, Holman went and interviewed the Purdue professor the day after the Franks memorandum was filed. 11. Why would Holman and the Unified Command try to hide the name of the Purdue professor, even risking ridicule for the absurdity that they could not remember his name? The answer is obvious once the taped statement was played. A. Dr. Turco stated that after viewing the pattern of the sticks on the girls that it was a given that someone was trying to replicate a Germanic runic script. B. Furthermore, Dr. Turco consulted with a colleague from Harvard who had even more knowledge on runes, and this Harvard professor was in agreement with Turco. C. Furthermore, Dr. Turco stated that Odinism is an extreme neo-pagan, neo-heathenism ideology and has right-wing racist connotations. 4. D. Furthermore, Dr. Turco stated that according to the 19th century sources, that Vikings practiced ritual killings and sacrifices. E. Furthermore, Dr. Turco stated that although he could not necessarily interpret these runes, that the sticks configurations were pretty clearly runic, and that he could certainly imagine that this was somebody's idea that when you do human sacrifice, you carve runes. There are some poetic sources that would sort of support that idea that somebody might have come across. That scenario seems entirely plausible to me. Turco taped statements 1500 to 1550. F. Furthermore, Dr. Turco discussed how runes were thought to have magical significance and would be used in incantations, in rituals, and that there is a sacrificial connection and a mythological poetry. These things were again where somebody who was sort of an Odin fanboy would likely come across. Turco taped statement 1440 to 1500. That on 12. That on September 8th, September 18th, September 21st, September 27th, 2023, the state of Indiana made available to the defense a total of 14 hard drives, 5 flash drives, 3 disks, and what appear to be hundreds of pages of paperwork. 13. Particularly contained in the state of Indiana's September 27th, 2023 evidence drop was a thumb drive that contained an interview of a Jeffrey Turco, not marked as a Purdue professor. 14. It seemed apparent by the timing of the events that Tony Liggett and Unified Command knew the Purdue professor's name and wanted to hide his name and his findings from the defense, as Turco's conclusions supported the statements. Therefore, apparently, in what seems like a complicated harebrained scheme, Holman and Liggett decided to claim that they did not know the professor's name, hoping that this would put an end to the defense looking into the Purdue professor. However, once the memorandum made it clear that the Purdue professor would certainly be found at some point in time, it took Holman one day to locate Dr. Turco and interview him about his findings of 2017. 15. Again, Franks requires a preliminary finding that law enforcement has acted intentionally or with reckless disregard for the truth when being accused of concealing evidence from the judge who signed the warrant. It would be difficult to find a more outrageous set of facts to support that Liggett and the Unified Command intentionally concealed the Odinite information from Judge Diener. If Liggett and Unified Command were willing to try to get away with concealing a Purdue professor from the defense counsel, then it is easy to see that they would have no problem concealing all the evidence detailed in the Franks memorandum from Judge Diener as well. Wherefore, defense counsel respectfully files this additional Franks notice and requests a Franks hearing. Say what? That's crazy, huh?